This video is sponsored by KiwiCo. Hey folks, fWhip here, and welcome back into the amplified Minecraft survival world, where last episode we started a brand new base over here on the far edge of the jungle, which is going to be our oak and jungle tree farm right here with this lovely Caribbean styled building that I am absolutely in love with. It has turned out so well. Thank you all so very much for the support on the last episode. Seems like a lot of people loved it as well, so that is absolutely awesome. Just for a quick little summary of what we got going on in here, check out all this cool space. It's fully decorated on the inside, all that stuff. We've got bunk beds. Who doesn't want a good bunk bed? And of course we have a rooftop balcony for ourselves that is so very awesome. Now moving forward on today's episode is we've got to start doing a little bit of the technical side of this thing here. It is actually meant to be a tree farm after all, and well, first and foremost we need a place to store all of the logs that we're chopping down, and I figured since we're in the jungle this could also be a great place to farm some cocoa beans, and I kind of want to do a giant field of the double tall ferns. I love how this turned out, so if we do a giant field with that and we can get like a windmill above it, it could be so cool. If y'all are excited for this episode, please be sure to click that like button down below, and let's get some trees going. I spent a while gathering up a lot more sandstone for myself and smelting even more smooth sandstone on top of all that, but I've been trying to think about what I want to do in this area. And I think with the jungle trees, we need a little bit more space for them. So this area out here, I'm almost thinking we can tear out and turn this into a flatter space and do some oak trees down here and then go farther back down this pathway that we had started to create coming back through at this point. Clear out some area back at this point, flatten out the landscape a little bit, and get an awesome space to have plant like maybe 12 or 16 large jungle trees like those big boys over there, and I think that'd be absolutely awesome. For the smaller project, I think it's time that we start out with this front one right here, and then we can figure out what we're doing from there. Got a lot of building to do today, got a lot of terraforming stuff to do today, and we're already getting some cocoa beans as well. We'll figure out where to put those in at the end. I don't quite know that part yet, but it's just we've got a bunch of puzzle pieces here ready to go, and we've got to figure out how to put them together, and I think the answer is going to come to us as we're working this thing out. Took the entire rest of that Minecraft day to actually clear out all the trees and everything, and wow, there's a lot of mobs out there, so let's go ahead and sleep real fast. But what I was gonna say is I've got a box of dirt. And how is the mob situation looking out here? There's a creeper by all my shulker boxes. I don't like that. And anybody down here? There's a zombie over there. All right, buddy, come on over here. Let's get you out of here. I don't want to deal with you at all. There's skeletons and things all over the place, and I hate it. Okay, creeper's down. Scary part. Oh, there's another one back there. And I'm gonna run away for a sec. The ever faithful Minecraft trick: if you're scared of all the mobs, run away from your problems and come back later, and they should be solved by the mobs disappearing. Problem solved. Now over in this area that I've been clearing out that took way too long to do, thankfully we're tackling two birds with one stone here, and we're actually getting a bunch of wood and leaves as we're doing this, and a bunch of saplings. Well, we're clearing out an area to build our tree farm, so we're really already doing the tree farming thing right now. But I saw this little underwater pool up here, and I loved it. I thought it'd be really cool to, we're going more the decorative route here than actually having a functional tree farm. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to create a bit of a river that was going to be coming all the way down through here. Now, I've got my box of dirt as well because I want to do a little bit of terraforming, but I think we could have a small little bit of a creek bed coming down throughout this way, and then just shooting off where we have this other water pond, of just having that being the point almost where the pond starts going out into the ocean, and I'm falling. Making sure we're doing double dirt throughout the entire way. I was thinking we probably want to flatten out the area to about this layer right up here. What's that, 73? I think that's gonna be pretty good, so we can have another little half slab step up onto this point right up here. So we bring that guy probably about across right like that. That should be okay. We'll bring the course straight out, and then we can fill the entire flattened out area with a heck of a lot of oak saplings. Bucket of water ready to go, and let's see where the water pours down to. I think this is gonna be a really cool bit of detail because we're gonna have so much green and brown in here with all of this trees and leaves and everything. I think getting a little bit of the pop of blue can really help us out. There we go, all the way down to the ocean now, and that should do the trick for us. We'll detail out this area along the edge here a little bit later on, but for now I want to focus on the tree farm. I threw some coarse dirt out here, which will become a lot more apparent as we eventually get all the grass to spread around here for the middle of the field that we got going on. And then from there, I was thinking we could do a little bit of a diagonal step bridge right here with some slabs and some trapdoors, all right, like that, to get ourselves over to the other side if we want to keep planting more saplings over here. I think I'm going to move this wall back just a touch to make it a little bit of a steeper cliff face for ourselves, and then it'll actually make sense to plant some saplings down here. Now, this is not meant to be the end-all be-all of tree farms of the best thing ever in the entire world. It's just more supposed to be something kind of fun that we can use and actually be able to get a decent amount of trees from as we're working in the area or maybe doing something else. We'll just be around here flying around and they'll be growing up all over the place, and that'll be totally fine. So, of course, we got to keep with the detailing before we even worry about getting saplings down. I think a nice way that we can add a simple retaining wall to this area that I just dug out a bunch of, because previously it came all the way out to here and I just moved it back about 8 or 9 blocks. So I think we can just bring in a little bit of stone and work some slabs and things on top of them to help it inch its way all the way up here. And we'll add some, it will start to add a little bit of 3D depth to it as we go as well. Being very conscious that a lot of this area is okay to be really messed up as we're in the jungle, and we're going to be eventually covering that with a lot of jungle leaves and things up there too. I don't know quite how dense I want to go on the edge of it, but I think we can make some really cool spots if we do mix up that top, and instead of just leaving it plain and empty, we gotta add some extra life into that. There we go, that should do just fine. Off to our lovely bunk bed. And the last little bit of detail I want to do is we have this large bulge coming out here with all of this land, and I figure we have the stone on that side already. We kind of have the natural line to have a little bit of a cliff face in here too. So I was going to bring in another cliff face of all of the stone right over there, and there's a creeper. Okay, let's take him out. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. And let's knock you back over there. Run away. And for the kill! Nailed it. Brings an entire box of dirt with himself and keeps tearing away dirt to eventually fill back us up as an entire box of dirt. That's great. It's just great. Now, for this stuff out here, it's supposed to be a rock. It's supposed to be a boulder. It's not supposed to be manicured at all, so making it look really messed up and just randomized as we're going is probably actually better for it in the long run, because then it makes it feel a little bit more believable that this is actually something that's been here instead of blocks that we placed in. Adding some extra final details into our little cliff face over here with some pressure plates and some buttons, and I've extended the cliff all the way around so we have a full-on barrier pretty much around this entire place with a few little bits broken up, because otherwise it gets really boring. If we just had a straight line of stone going this entire way, it'd be rather bland. So adding a little bit of the blue with the water through there, the grass coming all the way down with it, and then we have this whole section of the grass coming down here naturally as well, is really what's just going to spice it up and make it look about 1,000,000 times better than it would otherwise. Otherwise, it's just like you took a gray marker and just went all the way across. But I'll tell you what, folks, I think this is an absolutely fantastic time to tell you about today's sponsor, as I've got to plant in a bunch of oak saplings around here. This seems like a great time to tell you about today's sponsor, KiwiCo. KiwiCo is an awesome brand that is creating a new and engaging way to learn and have fun. They create sweet hands-on projects here designed to expose your kids, or anyone really, to the concepts of STEAM. KiwiCo is here to help your kids learn to innovate and create through 8 different subscription lines, catering to all age groups and many different topics. KiwiCo believes that learning skills to problem solve, innovate, and create, kids can truly change the world tomorrow. Now, my inner kid was extremely excited to see our own KiwiCo box arrived at our house, so my fiance and I tried our own hands at building a set of stereo headphones. Everything we could need to build was inside the kit and ready to go. There's no need to run to the store for any extra parts or tools. These KiwiCo kits are geared towards kids to help them understand and be able to problem solve and grow on their own. I can only imagine how much the skills learned here will compound and grow throughout the many years moving forwards. Learning to solve the small problems today in these kits can help set them up for success for even bigger problems tomorrow. Now, as mentioned, we were able to build the stereo headphones kit. It was a little bit challenging, but the instructions inside of there were so easy to follow that I felt like anybody would be able to do it, and it was really fun to be able to do that and tinker around with the little wires and get the headphones working. And then once we plugged them into a computer and were able to listen to music through these headphones that we had built, that was truly amazing. If you want to try this out, KiwiCo is currently offering 50% off your first month of any kit by going to kiwico.com/fWhip. This will be linked in the description as well for you to check out after the video. And there we have it, everybody. Our first oak tree grown inside of the tree farm. Decided to divide ourselves up into 3 different areas. So we got a tiny one right over here. We've got a bigger one right over there. And then we've got this one separated over here where a tree just grew in our face. Okay, the reason I separated these so much is so that there's still a little tiny gap of air right over our waterway. I hope, at least in points. And then also our pathway will not feel like it's just in the middle of trees. Like we're not walking between rows of trees like that. There we got a big old oak tree for ourselves. Perfect. That thing is be growing up like crazy. I've got to find some more lanterns here soon. But what we got to do next is get these things out of my inventory. And all of my shulker boxes are completely full at this point in time, pretty much. Okay, I think what we do next, to split things up here, so we're not just diving directly into doing the jungle tree farm, let's figure out the storage room. Seems like this spot right up here could be pretty perfect for ourselves, so I figured we could grab some chests to get started over here. And I don't really want to use the spruce wood since we're going to use that for building, and we're chopping down a bunch of jungle wood, so let's use that to make some chests. My thought is to have 6 double chests of every single type of item that we're going to be storing over here. So we got 6 for jungle wood, 6 for oak wood, and then we're going to have 6 extra ones. There'll be cocoa beans as well as having, wow, I need a lot more chests than that. Okay, 12 more chests to go. And the final one is going to be for cocoa beans and any other sorts of leaves or saplings that we might be gathering in the area that we're going to be leaving over here. I think we're actually going to be taking down a little bit of the section of this wall, which I'm totally okay with because that means we can connect the banner line that we have there into this actual structure and it might look a tad bit better. Coming down in here now though, I had a fun idea for the front of this one is that bringing ourselves actually a block out right like this. And just for simplicity's sake of building this thing, I'm going to do a little bit of a line of the smooth sandstone going all the way around. I thought it would be cool to make it look like we have these little portals entering into each one of the areas where the chests are. So we're going to be able to still walk around in this entire thing, but we're going to end up with these little sections right here as dividing archways to get inside. And I think that is absolutely awesome. And then from there, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that'll bring us out to a good sized structure and we can just line behind these chests. Now the touchy part that we got to worry about here is that if we put a block right on top of the chest right there, we can't open them. So we have to actually go up a whole block higher, which will add a little bit of extra height to this one and make it a little bit taller than we actually have that front of the archway over there. But I think it's going to be a-okay since we are on a higher level here. Next up, grabbing a bunch more fun blocks for ourselves. Since we're working on an even width here, we can't do the oak logs every other block, so we've got to find a different way to add that little bit of the extended bit that we added on top of that structure so we can bring in that same style. I'm sorry, Large Fern, I really want to keep you in here, but I might have to get rid of you. Using the help of the jungle to jump up on top here, we've got the trapdoors down at the base, then we're extending out some slabs on top of them, and then on top of the slabs, we're going to be extending some campfires. I only had soulfire ones on me because we used all of the regular ones last time, but that should be able to extend out to there. And then from the end of the soulfire campfires, we're actually going to be extending out some more spruce trapdoors. And then inside of this guy, I'm thinking we do something right like that. Now, it still feels a little bit wonky and very overextended to me, so I'm thinking we could come down onto these corners here and extend down a good amount of spruce fences and then have a brick wall at the bottom. I had to quickly run back over to the base to grab a bunch of coarse dirt for ourselves so we could actually finish off this little bit of the section up here so we can get some cool bits. I think just spamming coarse dirt around this entire area will be enough of a floor for ourselves since it's supposed to be an outdoor-ish storage room of sorts of things and everything like that. I think it'd be pretty okay. This guy right there, though, I think we need to put another block of brick underneath him. Or maybe just another wall. And over here, to smooth it back just a touch, let's add some of these spruce slabs right there. I know those poles very much in the way, but I think it's going to be okay in the long run. That's starting to look super sweet. Now I can at least get some things out of my inventory while I start to work on detailing this area some more. I brought over a bunch of coal with me as well and some more iron so we can make a bunch of lanterns, as I'm also out of torches completely. Looking at these sides though here on the end, we might be able to get away with doing those full logs on the front, on the left and the right side of the build, which could look kind of cool to be able to bring that all in line with what we have over here. But for now, let's focus on just getting a few things hanging down here with some lanterns. And maybe we can do, nope, that's not a chain. Right, like that should work out pretty great for ourselves. And then on the inside, can I put a spruce slab right here and still open it? I can, that's gonna be great. So we're gonna do spruce slabs along this entire row right here to help just make it feel like we're more enclosed. Adding in a few more fun final details around the area, we can get some hanging flower pots, and I've got this whole thing connected over there. I've got the extended bits on the sides done, but I think it's time that we jump up and add a few more jungle leaves. I started doing it across the front here, then realized that this section looked really bad right here, which is kind of that campfire there, just not doing much. So I think what I'm gonna do is just full on get rid of the campfire, have that all stuffed throughout here. And I don't really know what I want to do on the top quite yet. I think I want to do like a little bit of a brick slab roof coming up, to be honest. So we can do some smooth sandstone coming up to an arch here in the center. And then we'll do some brick slabs a little bit recessed below that in the middle. Something a bit more like this guy right over here. We went very heavy detailed on that roof over there as it's the main structure, but since this one is literally just a storage building, I don't think we need to go too crazy on everything. So I'm thinking literally just something right like in there, and then we bring in some brick slabs right like this going all the way across. Honestly, it looks pretty dang good to me. So far, I've just got to mix up all of the sandstone and sand and get some cut sandstone in here too. Just to add some extra life and detail into the structure itself. So let me get that stuff done and I'll be back. Cramming some final bits of leaves down here and some ferns, which I would love to go get some bone meal. So we'll have to stop by the Skelly farm later today because I think I'm out of that stuff in here. But check this little guy out. I love him. I think he's turned out so well. I've got all these leaves kind of hanging all which way over the place. I think to give another little block down there, we got to do a second one. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Perfect. Okay, sweet. So we've got this on the side over here, kind of left off of touching up on that one. And on the back side, I decided that this building probably, you know, it's full of chests on the inside, but this back wall, holy cow leg, was very bland and boring and did not look great. However, this is very warm, hot jungle area, so we probably want to have some form of airflow regardless of what the structure is used for, just otherwise the humidity is going to build up like crazy. So I decided to just pop that little window there in the back for that one, but this thing is pretty much done. I think that guy's pretty much done. Now it is time for us, my friends, to move on from this lovely little oak wood that we've been planted over here. I was about to say jungle, but no, it's definitely oak wood. We're going to be moving on from this one and let all those saplings finish growing up there. And I've got to start clearing out the area for our jungle trees. Right back here, the big old boys. I just made a little bit of a funny realization here is that today, currently as of recording, it is Earth Day. And all I've done so far really inside of our Minecraft world today is chop trees down. Really supporting Earth Day here, folks. It's about time that we change that and actually get back to planting some trees and doing the good work here of all that stuff. So my inventory is an absolute mess yet again. But it's okay because I'm slowly growing a little melon patch right over here and I love it. I've realized though that my tools are becoming very, very quickly broken and absolutely destroyed. So I think this is one of those things where you're working on a Minecraft project and you're like, wow, this leads exactly into the next Minecraft project because we need a better source of experience to actually be able to repair tools. But I hope this whole area cleared out in here, we can get a good amount of those big tall trees. Time to get the good old box of dirt back and do a little bit of terraforming action of getting this whole place smoothed out. My thought is that we're up here and we probably bring it forwards and then maybe I can drop it down another block or so and then we'll have this entire layer being smoothed out to this line. I think that's going to be pretty good. It's really starting to look a heck of a lot better here. I've got the entire flattened out area good to go to plant some trees in and I've got a bunch of saplings on me here too. But first and foremost, I figured we could bring in a little bit of a stone retaining wall because we've been doing these all over the place, so we might as well. But this one, I want to incorporate some of that stone brick that we were using previously for our little pathway designs to make this more feel like it's something that they built out here so that the house could be a bit raised up above our area where we're planting all the jungle trees down. I think it's going to work out really well though. Of course, dirt down the middle as usual, and then I think over here we can just do some of these guys. I'm thinking we go diagonal 3 and then maybe over 1, and then we can do that same pattern here. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I just want to have these evenly spaced around so we can get optimal sapling drops because I know jungle trees are a little rough on the sapling drops sometimes. That right there should do it. We've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of them down. That is absolutely awesome. Oh, this is going to be perfect. We've got space for one more right in there too if we want to, but that might be a little close to the house. The new spot over here is starting to look really, really cool, and we've got to wait for all the jungle trees to start growing up, and it looks like we've got 2 popping up already back there, so that is absolutely awesome. But there's something I would love to do. And that is expanding the small little double fern field we have back here into filling this area with some double tall ferns as well. However, being able to create a lot of double tall ferns is we need a lot of bone meal. So let's head back over and see if we have anything in the skeleton farm. I'm not feeling all that hopeful as I have not been down to the skeleton farm in quite some time, smashing into the bamboo on the shore. But let's see what's down here. Feels weird being back in this spot. I don't think we've been here since like episode 5 at this point in time. Let's do that so we can kill them ourselves if we need to. 3 bones. Everything else has been raided. And for some reason, there's gunpowder in here. Not quite sure how that got in there, but I guess it's time for me to sit here AFK for a little while, let the skellies pile up, and probably I'm gonna mend, let's mend the shovel, because I think I'm gonna use that sooner. Alright, they've piled up a good amount in here. Let's flip open the trapdoor and see if we can get them all. Ooh, that's a good amount of experience in there too. I think we picked up 48 bones ourselves. How many went downstairs? 4. 4 went downstairs. That's better than none. A little over a stack and a half of bones later, and not too much on the repairing side, we are good to go and can actually be able to maybe get another field of the double tall ferns. Turning these all to the bone meal right over here. The way that we're going to be doing this, I believe, is if we plant one fern down, we bone meal that fern, we break the ferns, we get 2 ferns. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun. I really think I'm just gonna take this entire ledge that we have up here and just spread them basically until we're at this ledge right over here. Maybe leaving a space for a pathway to go up here eventually if we want to do like a larger house or something on top of that hill. I swear there has to be an easier way to do this than every single fern that we have to bone meal them. Come on, there's got to be a better way. Anybody have any ideas on how we can do this a little bit better? Because I don't think we can get them from bone mealing. You know what? We should test that. I should definitely test that. What do we get bone mealing right here? It looks like just a bunch of grass. Okay, so no ferns. Got up to 80 double tall ferns, and hopefully this will be enough for this. I think I'm just gonna fill the area with the regular ferns, and we'll come back in and add as many of the big boys as we can. Starting out with the less is more tactic of having just a few placed around all over the place, and see if that'll be enough once we grow them up. And then if there's any big wide open spots we need to add more, we can do that. The worst part about this whole thing is that if you accidentally right click one of these double tall ones, it replaces it with a short one. Worst thing ever, and you just lose them. Oh, this would be major frustration land if you want to do this on a very large scale here. But at this point right there, I think that actually looks really cool. Since I know it's just big old green everywhere back here, I figure we gotta add a little bit of a dividing line if we can, with some of that same stone brick and stone wall action that we're doing out in the front. And honestly, just continuing it right back here along the edge too. There we go, that's looking pretty sweet. We've got a bunch of these big boys grown up now, and I really think this point back here, since we have a lot of the fences and we got a lot of lanterns for us now, this point will really benefit from having some lanterns along the central path. A bit like that should do the trick, since it was starting to feel very dark already, and we only have 3 of them grown up. So that would be a little absurd if we did it the other way. Now, speaking of feeling very dark, yeah, this pathway did not work out at all inside of the oak forest, but that's fine. It means we have a lot more trees to chop down, right? Next up, what I actually wanted to do here was see if we can't link up a bit of a brick wall action right over in here and come all the way up this way, get some spruce fences for ourselves, and create a little bit of the same banner idea that we had right there and bring in this one all the way across. I just loved how that felt and the atmosphere that it helped to create, so I think I want to try doing that again here. That should do the trick right there, and it doesn't feel like it would be hitting your head or anything like that, but we'll see once we get the banners on. For some reason, this banner is like sitting in a different item slot and they can't be merged together, so let's throw him down there first just to get it out of the way. Finally, maybe a little lantern guy hanging right down in there, and then we've already got a flower pot hanging right over there, so that should be pretty good. But I like that. That's a lot of color in that one compared to the first one, so I'm curious to see how it looks from down here. Knowing this though, oh, the banners do render it. They don't render in the back point, but you know, they're at least down there in the front. I like that a lot. That's feeling very cool. Well, friends, I've been adding little details all over the place throughout here, and it is looking absolutely awesome. But I think, unfortunately, that is all we've got time for on today's episode. I've been watching these jungle trees growing up, and most seem to be back here, which is great, so we can harvest these things up here soon. But right now, because, you know, we kind of got all the jungle wood and oak wood we're going to need for a good while off of clearing these areas, we actually don't really need to harvest some. So I guess next episode we'll figure out how to tackle a cocoa bean farm in the area. That'll be kind of a fun project to do, because I don't really know a way that we can do that while making it very efficient. But, you know, that's a cool one, and maybe an experience farm and stuff like that. Let me know what ideas y'all have of experience farms I should try and look into being able to do inside this world here. But thank you again so very much for watching. Click that like button if you have not already. Subscribe if you're brand new, my friends. And with that, I will catch you on the flip side.